Well, that's a freaky Genestealer Cult model. It's one of two horrifying models that have come out of Games Workshop recently, so the sculptors seem to be having a lot of fun. We'd previously seen the Torment of the Chaos Space Marines, which were a great indicator of what they could make in plastic that helps keep you awake at night. Then coming out for Age of Sigmar is the Brood Terror, which is a kind of rat ogre, but they've attached the Master Molder, unwillingly, to the side of him. So that's a horrifying amalgamation of flesh, and something that maybe the Genestealer Cult could have used as a monster instead of the character we got. This is the Malstrain Coalescence. It's a kind of mix of, well, some Tyrannid bits, some Cultist bits, and some people bits, and...
oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Into this mess of somehow functional creature. It's a psycho to be used in Necromunda games. It doesn't have and is not expected to have rules in Warhammer 40,000. But there are ways. So how did we get to the point where this sort of thing could happen to a Genestealer Cult? I won't go into too much detail, I have other bigger videos to attend to. But this is a brief history of the Necromunda campaign. On the south side of Hive Secundus, it was very cold, and there were these scientists that rescued a dog that was being chased by Norwegian people in a Valkyrie. Okay. Necromunda's been around in the oldest editions of Warhammer 40,000, you know, like 2nd edition. But really, 1st edition for whenever we got Space Hulk, the first version of Space Hulk. And that had more tie-in things. Like there was mentions in White Dwarf about Space Hulk and expansions and more rules and some lore. One of the expansions for Space Hulk was for the Genestealer Cult, and they got some great hybrid models in plastic that I use to this day. Part of the lore was that the Imperial Fists sometimes recruit from Necromunda, and in Space Hulk missions, they had to fight the Genestealer Cult in a confined space when they came to grab some initiates, to become scouts, to become Space Marines, to then fight in more dark tunnels against Genestealers. So Genestealers were discovered in Hive Secundus, the second biggest hive city on the planet. The ruling family, who had always been wary of a rival coming from there, ordered the city immediately quarantined and then purged. So there's an ongoing fight between the Planetary Defense Force and the cultists within Hive Secundus. This didn't work for the loyalists. I say loyalists like those loyal to the Golden Throne. Well, those loyal to the family that controls the planet. The ones loyal to the planetary governor. It wasn't working out for them. The fight kept going on. This wasn't a quick purge mission. To stop the risk of a Genestealer Cult victory and survival, the Lord General of Hive Primus cheated at war. They launched rad munitions which toppled the thin spires of Hive Secundus, which collapsed, causing an earthquake that made the whole area an irradiated wasteland. No one should go there. Officially, the numbering value on Necromunda was changed so that it goes Hive Primus, then Hive Tertius. There is no in-between to talk about. But many Genestealer cultists survived, hundreds of thousands according to the Genestealer Cult 8th edition codex, and they spread out through tunnels that they dug to reach Hive Primus to engage in gang wars there. The Genestealer Cult that exists within Hive Secundus isn't great, and the Genestealers produced are a bit different. They're called Malstrain Genestealers rather than Pure Strain Genestealers. They're definitely weaker because they can be killed in a one-on-one fight with a Necromunda ganger. They had to explain the power difference. And because of the weird way that they're all messed up with the radiation and the earthquake and the many generations of not having outside genetic material, they're producing a weird psychic signal. The hive mind doesn't recognize it as a Genestealer cult. The hive mind isn't coming to Necromunda. And that is so sad when you are so messed up that the gods don't even recognize you as one of their children. And the Malstrain Coalescence is a perfect representation of that. Between psychic energy, between radiation, between putting things together in a bag and shaking them, this is what we get, and you can have them as a gang leader if you so wish. Or if you wanted to use them in Warhammer 40,000, considering the big psychic-looking Zoanthrope-style crest on top, they could be a Benefactus. It's an alternative model to the one we've got. And that's just one of the ways that you can have a Benefactus on the tabletop in 10th edition. So I'll leave you with that video. My darlings and viewers, Haven't... Oh, it's just horrible to look at.